rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile, pants are off but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee, talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show, let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile, pants are off but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee, talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show, let's go. Serious is overrated, every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town but in a jest, morning whiz is always best. Time to run, morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning. Man, the stuff that happens on the weekends, unbelievable. It's just, I've got some good stuff for you guys today. I mean, it is one of those you're just going to want to reach in there, sink in, get in deep and hard. Good morning, Nancy, Roxanne, and JD fan, Cynthia Neuer. How you doing? Oh my, Tammy Bugard, good to see you. Oh, it is one of those days. It's one of those days. It's going to be so interesting. Yes. So the first thing we got here, and we're going to hit it really, really light first. Just give it a little tease. Thank you, Tammy. We had a blast. We couldn't stop laughing last night. It was so much fun. It was the best. Here we go. Tampa, Florida. It says Florida neighbors band together to recover after a 1-2 punch from a Hurricane Helene and another Hurricane Milton. They should have just named it Millhouse. Oh my God. When the ankle-deep floodwaters from Hurricane Helene bubbled up through the floors of their home, Cat Robertson Dash Malone. What the hell is it? No, which one is it? See, she's hyphenated. Didn't hit the whole thing, but loved it. Wow. I hit the whole. Sorry, I'm not going to say that. And her husband. What was her husband's name? That's what makes me wonder, because if it's all about Cat, what's her husband's name? I guess he doesn't matter. Sent a late night text message to their neighbors 2 doors down and said, "Hey, we're coming." The couple waded through the flooded street to the elevated front porch of Chris and Kara Sunder, whose home was built on higher ground, and handed over their 8-year-old daughter and a gas-powered generator. Said, "Here, take these. Keep these safe. We're going to go home now." Sorry. Oh, this just reads so horrible. The Sunders' lime green house in southern Tampa also became a refuge for Brooke and Adam Karsten. Karstensen. Okay. The house, who's next door to Robinson Malone, also flooded. See, now we know where to find these people. The three families met years earlier when their children became playmates, and the adults' friendships deepened during their corona. I don't know, they were getting drunk in 2020. So when Helene and Milton struck Florida within 2 weeks of each other, the neighbors closed ranks as one big extended family. They started cooking meals together, taking turns watching children, cleaning out their damaged homes. And as Milton threatened to strike a direct strike on Tampa last week, the Malones, the Sunders, the Karstistons decided to evacuate together. They drove more than 450 miles in a caravan to Metro Atlanta. 7 adults, 6 children, 4 dogs, and a teenage Max Karstens, 3 pet rats. At least you had food with you. Just saying. Everyone has like the chainsaw or a tarp. Really? Robinson Malone said Sunday, but really, the most important thing for us was the community we built. And that made all the difference for the hurricane rescue and recovery, and now, hopefully, the restoration. Well, those recovery efforts continued Sunday in a storm-battered communities in Central Florida, where Joe Biden, he decided to survey the devastation after the fact. Biden said he was thankful the damage from Milton was not as severe as officials had anticipated, because he wouldn't have been able to afford taking care of it, which has been blamed for at least 11 deaths. The number of homes and businesses in Florida was still without electricity dropped to about 500,000 on Sunday, according to Power Outage US, and thanks to Trump sending some support for those line workers down in Florida by opening up his hotel that was down for more than 3 million after Milton made landfall Wednesday as a Category 3 storm. Fuel shortages, they appeared to be easing as more gas stations opened and lines at the pumps in the Tampa area looked notably shorter. And so did the people. Or it could have been just that they were standing knee-deep in water. Governor Ron DeSantis announced 9 sites where people can get 10 gallons. Or for those that are not in Florida, 38 liters each for free. While recovery efforts were gaining steam, a full rebound will take far, far longer. DeSantis cautioned that debris removal could take up to a year, even as Florida shifts nearly 3,000 workers to the cleanup. He said Biden has approved 100% federal reimbursement for those efforts for only 90 days. The removal of the debris has to be 24/7 over this 90-day period, DeSantis said while speaking next to a pile of furniture, lumber, and other debris in Treasure Island, an island city near St. Petersburg that has been battered by both recent hurricanes. That's the way you get the job done here. Morning, Elka. Good to see you. The National Weather Service meteorologist Paul Close said rivers will keep rising for the next several days, and the result in flooding, mostly around Tampa Bay and northward. Those areas got the most rain, which came to a top of a wet summer, so wet that included several hurricanes. Meanwhile, residents unable to move back into their damaged homes were making other arrangements. Robinson Malone, whatever her name is, and her husband. We finally got a name after halfway through the story. His name is Brian. So is it Brian Robinson Malone? I wonder, which one is it? He bought a camper trailer that's parked in their driveway. Well, they plan on living there while their gutted home is repaired and also improved to make more resilient against hurricanes. These storms, they're just going to keep happening, she said, and we want to be prepared for it. Let me guess, they moved from California because they haven't been living there for very long if they weren't prepared for storms living in Florida. Just saying, they must be from some other place. Well, and the Karstens plan to demolish what's left of their flooded, low-slung home, which was built in 1949. In other words, they lived in a place that was built long before Florida got so busy. Sorry. For the time they're staying with Brooke Carlston's mother. Chris Sondar said he's questioning his plan to remain in Tampa until his children have all graduated from high school, because moving from California was just, I wasn't expecting all these storms. This house remains the home base for the families, kids aged 8 through 13. On the wall, there's a list of chores for them all. From folding laundry to emptying waste baskets, Brooke Karsten, a teacher, oh, go figure, has helped the children through an extended period without school. The Sunders lost both their vehicles when Helene's storm surged their garage. Oh, so they drove Robinson Malone's car. Just, it's killing me. Chris Sundar said to Robinson Malone, "This is where the community shines, or it falls apart." And that night we got together and we all hung out. On Sunday, back in Florida, they worked together to remove sticks, logs from a large oak limb that dangled over another neighbor's driveway. Brian, at the end of the story, Brian finally has a last name, Brian Malone. He cut it up with a chainsaw. It was a mighty chainsaw. Good morning, Paul Storm. Jacqueline Recovery, as the group has made it seem far less overwhelming, Brooke Karstensen said. The families share tips, but not the whole thing, just the tip. On a group text thread. The Sunders threw an impromptu 13th birthday party for her son at her house between the storms. She found solace and laughter from Brian Malone's advice about rebounding. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. He's so smart. It's why she wants to remain in Tampa, despite her concerns that Helene and Milton won't be the last storms. Why do we live here in a place that's trying to destroy us, Brooke Carson said. Well, it's all the people that we want to have here. Sweetheart, those storms have been happening long before you got there, and they'll be continuing long after you leave. Your voice was it's going to take days to recover. I figured it would. Oh, man. Damn. Oh, but, as they're getting prepared for that, you have to remember that North Korea is getting prepared for something else. It's preparing to destroy northern parts of inter-Korean wars, Seoul says. So, South Korea. South Korea said Monday it detected signs that the North Korea is preparing to destroy the northern parts of inter-Korea roads that no longer uses. As the rivals are embroiled in sowing tensions over North Korea's claim that South Korea flew drones over its territory and flew poop buckets over and dropped them right upon us. Destroying the roads would be in line with leader Kim Jong-un's push to cut off ties with South Korea. You go away, South Korea. Formerly cemented as it is this country's principal enemy and has abandoned the North decades long ago objective to seek peaceful Korean unification. Our biggest enemy is concrete. South Korea's military said Monday it was observing various activities in North Korea. It appeared to be in preparations for demolishing the roads, such as installing screens. We put up these screens on the road. They're working behind those screens, preparing to blow up the roads. Lee Sung-joon, spokesperson for South Korea Joint Chiefs of Staff, told a briefing. He said the demolitions could be carried out as early as Monday. Monday, blow the roads up. Lee said the South Korea military believes the North could also attempt to launch a space rocket, little rocket. It was fueled by UN as band of tested long-range missile technology. Technology is so good for us. Lee said North Korea conducted unspecified small provocations like flying poop buckets over our country. Not clear how many roads North Korea destroyed. Development comes North Korea recently accused South Korea of launching drones to prop up propaganda leaflets over Pyongyang 3 times this month. 3, not 2, not 1, but 3 times. And threatened to respond with force if it happened again. South Korea has refused to confirm whether it sent drones, but warned it would sternly punish North Korea. Oh, spanking for you. In a statement Sunday, North Korea Defense Ministry said military ordered artillery and other arms units near the border. South Korea, get fully ready, open fire. Spokesperson says South Korean territory might turn into piles of ashes following North Korea's powerful attack. Ashes, poop buckets. We throw ashes on the poop. Poop no smell. North Korea often releases war-like rhetoric, with animosities and its rivals increase. Experts say it's highly unlikely for North Korea to launch full-scale preemptive attacks, as its military is outmatched by the combined U.S. and South Korean forces. I can't even pronounce this damn name. Freckled Ginger, good to see you. A spokesperson of South Korea Unification Ministry said Monday that North Korea is actually in South Korea drone flights. No. Some observers say Pyongyang activists might have sent drones this month, but North Korea argues South Korean government cannot escape. You will not get away. In 2022, South Korea sent surveillance drones across the border in North Korea after it accused North Korea of flying drones in South Korea. North, South, we're arguing. Last week, North Korea said it permanently blocked its border with South Korea and built a frontline defense structures to cope with confrontal hysteria. With South Korea and U.S. forces, it cited various military exercises in South Korea and the deployments of the U.S. military assets in South Korea. South Korea officials say North Korea, they're adding anti-tank barriers. You will get away. Kim's order stunned many North Korean watchers because it was seen as breaking away with his predecessor's long-cherished dreams of peacefully achieving a unified Korea. In North's terms, experts say Kim likely aims to diminish South Korea's voice in the nuclear region standoff and seeks to direct dealings with the U.S. They also say Kim is also hopes to diminish South Korea cultural influence and bolster his rule at home. Oh my God. I'm sorry I couldn't help it this morning because I thought I saw something that was a Babylon Bee story. And whenever I saw this, I honestly thought this was the Babylon Bee. And I'm probably gonna get in trouble for it, but I really have to show it because I laughed so hard that I cried. I joke not that we're gonna break this down. So YouTube, this is not this is not promoting anybody at all. I'm just telling you, okay? This is not spreading misinformation or anything. This is me telling you that I saw this and I laughed. I laughed so hard because I thought it was Babylon Bee. Here we go.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Okay.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man
That man looks very
enough to deadlift 500 and bring.
Yeah, I don't see that guy deadlifting 500. Sorry. Sorry, I just don't see him deadlifting 500 at all. Oh, yes, you can tell I'm going to have one of those days today. Yeah, I'm getting prepared for it. Then braid the shit out of my daughter's hair. Why does your daughter have shit in her hair? Oh, I'm just wondering, why does he
Braid the shit out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
Oh God, dude, you should maybe lay off the pork and beans or carburetors for you.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
What? You're not afraid of bears? Okay. You talking about those hairy gay men? Oh boy.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not.
Okay. That's creepy. Oh no, I thought this was Babylon Bee. I swear to God, this was an ad.
Not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies.
Have all the cats you want.
Woman.
What? Okay. A woman wants to be president? Okay. She's already vice president, so she's one step away.
Who wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full.
Dude looks gay. Just saying. I may not be good, but my gaydar is like going off on this guy. This is the Harris ad. This is not Babylon B. I swear to God, this is not Babylon B. This is a Harris ad.
Throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough not to ban young women from reading women, Little Women. Okay. Creepy.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man.
Okay. This is creepy. 1,000% gay. I would say this guy is probably pretty on that Fruit Loop side too.
Man enough to raw dog a flight.
Yeah, I bet he raw dogs a hot dog. He just gets right on it. Are you man enough to use a GPS? I guess not. Written by women for men. Oh God.
It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
Dude, you don't have a wife. The guy that's sitting there, I'm man enough to be emotional for my son. You don't have a wife. If you did, she probably looks at you and goes, cut. Just, I bet he cries when they have sex too. Oh, this guy right here. Looking at him, I doubt he's ever worked on a car in his life. And the reason I say that is look at what in the hell he's wearing. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm looking at this shirt. I'm like, what bad stylist dressed this guy up? He has never worked on a car in his life. He looks like homeless Santa Claus. I'm sorry. They're all gay. I imagine so. God, this guy does. He's got these toolboxes behind him, but his hands are all clean.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
Uh-oh. That's not no biker.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good.
No, you cry at everything. You probably cry whenever you're getting pegged too.
Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I know your mama did a horrible job raising you because you need to eat less, son. Eat less. I mean, I'm a little fluffy, but dude, I doubt that you've ever even touched a carburetor, and that hat looks absolutely horrible on you. Just saying. Just saying.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women.
Other words, you're not men. Because you should be so proud of. No, because if here's the thing, son. You shouldn't have to stand up and shout how much you support your woman. At all. But here you go.
Men who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
He's man enough to be yay. Yeah, somebody actually got all that information of who these manly men were, and they were just like, yeah, they're not who you think they are. They're not at all who you think they are. You want to find out who they are? Oh, yes. Here we go. You got Winston Carter. He's Taft Broadcasting Company, Oklahoma State University. That's him right there. Yeah, that's him. Yeah. Tony Ketchum. Yeah, that's him. As many of you know, Jimmy Kimmel's writer Jacob Reed directed an ad for Camel Toe Harris's campaign titled Men for Camel Toe. The ad features what are presented as everyday male voters explaining why supporting Camel Toe for Harris is the masculine thing to do. However, none of the men in the ad are actually regular voters. They are paid actors. Moreover, their real-life circumstances differ significantly from the individuals they portray in that ad. Here are their stories. Waylon McQueen is a far-left pro-Antifa comedian and actor who has until now found limited success. He does improv gigs at the Upright Citizens Brigade in Los Angeles. In a Twitter post from 2022, he explains that what white privilege is and tells you why you need to acknowledge your white privilege. As of 2024, he is still single. Lanar Nduwu is an immigrant from Nigeria. He is also an actor who works at the DC-based Octet Productions. He has many intimate pictures with the Obamas and the Bidens. Nduwu, who is bi, has done gay for pay movies and made nude solo shoots. In the Men for Camel Toe ad, he says he's man enough to effing braid his daughter's hair. Well, shit out of her hair. But there's only one problem, that he doesn't have a daughter. Nduwu isn't braiding anyone's hair. Mike Leffingwell, a gay man, also works at the Upright Citizens Brigade, where McQueen works. He is an acting coach, cartoon writer for Netflix and DreamWorks, and an actor in TV commercials. On his public Instagram page, his showcase is... Oh, here, I'll show you. There we go. On his public Instagram page, he showcases his participation in his latest project, the Men for Camel Toe ad. Winston Carter, the heaviest fellow in the ad, who claims to be a mechanic and rancher, lives in Los Angeles, signed with Taft Broadcasting Company. He has found limited success in the acting world, mainly as an extra in films such as a character in the low-budget superhero film Spaghetti Man. Tony Ketchum, the tough, rugged, bearded grandpa in his garage in the Men for Camel Toe ad, is also an actor. He now mainly does low-budget independent films like Carl Botts, where he played the role of Peepaw. Tony is unmarried in real life. In 2001, he played the extra role of alcoholic consumer in the movie Ghost World. So they're all paid actors talking about how much of men they are, and none of them have women. Oh, I honestly thought that was a Babylon Bee commercial whenever I first saw that. That made me laugh. Oh, but they're losing so bad that now they've got them carrying water. They're bad actors, I know. They're rolling this out, and they got lambasted on this one too. It says Harris is laying out a new plan to empower black men as she tries to energize them to vote for her. Yeah, she got owned on this one too. It seems like she can't really do anything. She can't really do anything. She's been having these issues constantly of not being able to promote the whole black agenda. She's been working hard at it. She's been working really, really hard at it. So far that now she's gotten this person involved in it because she can't do it herself.
The tweets in all caps, the ranting and the raving about crazy conspiracy theories. Yeah, the 2-hour speeches, word salad, just, it's like
right now, what you're doing. Word salad. Obama be regretting this. Yeah.
Fidel Castro. Just on and on. Constant attempts to sell you stuff. Who got the tweets in all caps?
This isn't going to age well. They're Obama. It isn't going to age well. Oh, it isn't going to age well. But I will tell you, if you're looking for someone to throw some good ads out there for you, you got this guy right here.
Cause that hoe is just as bad as Joe. But you gotta say no to the hoe. And I take cash card or Venmo. But you gotta say no to the hoe.
Yeah, that helped a lot. Nope. Oh yes, they're. Oh, it is so bad. It is so bad. But she has jumped on this so hard, so fast. She wrote it to the top. Vice President, not to be forgotten, Camel Toe Harris, is announcing a plan to give black men more economic opportunities. What have you been doing for the past 3 years, sweet cheeks? The past 3.5 years, going on 4 years. What opportunities have you given black men? Because we know that you're not a man unless you're braiding the shit out of your daughter's hair. She works to energize a key voting bloc. The Democrats are concerned about the lack of enthusiasm, mainly because you probably have locked them all away. They probably don't have much enthusiasm whenever you do that. Harris's plan includes providing forgivable business loans for black entrepreneurs. That sounds a little racist right there. Creating more apprenticeships and studying sickle cell and other diseases that disproportionately affect African American men. I wonder if Elon's worried about sickle cell because he's African American. That's really hard to understand for them, though, isn't it? It's so weird. Harris has also said she supports legalizing marijuana. Oh, yeah, sure you do. Mm-hmm. And her plan calls for working to ensure black men have opportunities to participate as a national cannabis industry takes shape. Oh, don't you already know? You locked them away. You threw them in jail for selling weed. So I'm just wondering, you broke your pipe again last night? That's good. I guess. Oh, I don't know. Oh my God. AP, you're not doing good for her. You sucking on her ween is not helping at all. It's making you look really bad. Vice President's so-called opportunity agenda for black men is meant to invigorate African American males. Man, just do a booty shake in front of them. You'll get black men invigorated. You get all kinds of men invigorated. Just saying, a little blue pill works wonders too. When there are fears that some may sit out the election rather than vote for Harris or her opponent. Who's her opponent? It's raining hammers. It's raining bummer because now you got to use the metal pipes. Sorry. Vice President unveiled the plan Monday ahead of an evening campaign rally in Erie, Pennsylvania, where she was to appear with John Fetterman. Her push comes after Barack Obama suggested last week that some black men aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. No, that's where you're wrong. They just don't like you, Kamala. They don't care about a woman being president. They just don't like you. Sorry, they just don't like the Indian woman that's running for president. The Harris campaign also has been working to increase support among other male voter blocs, including the Hispanics, by founding the group Hombres con Harris. Oh my God. You're kidding me. Hombres Von Harris? What in the hell is she thinking? I mean, okay, I guess. I think you might not want to do that. Just saying, that's a little wild and out there. Con Harris? Oh, Jesus, man. See if I've got this one, because there is one here that I saw and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I thought it was a joke. I honestly thought that it was a joke. But it is not, because she went on Univision and did this.
Well, first of all, thank you for the question, and I hope your family is okay and your home is okay. Well, first of all, thank you for the question, and I hope your family is okay and your home is okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, sweetheart, it's not working. It's not working. Throwing on a fake Spanish accent? No. Just don't. Just don't do it. The Harris campaign also has been working to increase support among those other males. As her campaign is done with the Hombres group, Harris's team plans to organize gender-specific gatherings. Wait, you've already told men that they're not men and women that they're not women, and yet you want to have gender-specific. Okay, you racist, bigoted, homophobic creature. That is all I've got to say about that. It's meant to be offensive. It's offensive to anybody that pays any attention. Those that are just that blindly sit there and agree with this, they've got to be just as bad. I mean, come on, really? Cedric, a co-chair of Harris' campaign and a former Louisiana congressman. Well, why is he a former? Because he got voted out. Who's black? Well, I didn't need to know that information. Said Harris wants to build an economy where black men are equipped with the tools to thrive, to buy a home, provide for our family, start a business, and build wealth. But they don't want to be around women that are assholes. I guess it's the best description. And a lot of these women feel very asshole-ish because, well, have you seen some of the women around? Do you think that men want to be married to that? Just saying. You know, if you got a woman screaming at you and acting a fool, what would you do? Would you sit there and take it, or would you just exit stage left? Just like, I'm done. It's like, I'll take my ass to another country where they actually appreciate men. Because you've been telling men they're shit for I don't know how long. Yeah, for quite some time. I mean, you tell men they're shit enough, they'll just say, all right, see you, bye. Won't fight it. They'll just get up and go. It's like, all right, I'm garbage. See ya. I'm going to take my garbage elsewhere. Of course, it says Black Americans strongly supported Joe Biden when he beat Trump in 2020, which was very small amount. Harris's advisors say they're less worried about losing a large percentage of black male support to Donald Trump than someone will choose not to turn out at all. Well, you can't turn out if you're in prison. Why men cheat? Yeah. Trump, too, has stepped up efforts to win. No, he hasn't. Trump has not changed his message from the time that he ran in 2016. He has not changed his message whatsoever. He hasn't stepped it up. He's saying the same thing that he said the whole damn time. But they've got to make it out like, oh, he's working hard to get the black men also. No, he's not. He's doing what Trump has always done. He hasn't changed a bit. I think he's fine-tuned it and gotten better at it, but it doesn't matter. He's like, He's held roundtables with black entrepreneurs. You talking about places like it was the black journalist thing where the reason that he showed up there wasn't because they were black. It was because his opponent was supposed to be there also. And then they delayed it for an hour and acted like twats. That would be the best way of saying it. Twat waffles would be the appropriate terminology, but I shortened it down. Twats. With black entrepreneurs in swing states, and will sit for a town hall sponsored by a Spanish language Univision this week. He also sought to openly stoke racial divisions. He hasn't. No. That has been the left trying to stoke up these divisions. See, the left hasn't begun to understand that whenever you take part of your voting bloc and you don't give them any sort of ability, you take away their rights, you take away their free thought. Whenever you do that, you're doing the thing that pushes them away almost immediately. And if you continue on the path that you're going, people aren't going to listen to you anymore. They're just going to turn around. They're going to walk away and say, you know what? You told me I was garbage. Now you want my vote. So then you tell me I'm garbage again. You get my vote and you tell me I'm garbage. And you know what? I just take my garbage elsewhere. And no, he is not repeatedly suggesting that illegals crossing the U.S. border are taking jobs. He has proven that illegals coming across the border are taking jobs. Yes. They're getting paid to come to the United States. They're getting paid better than if you were naturally born in the United States. Harris's new round of proposals includes a promise that if elected, she's going to continue doing the same shit that she's been doing for the past 4 years. Sorry, you've had 4 years to get this shit straightened out and you can't do it. But they're going to distribute only 1 million loans of up to $20,000. How is that going to help? That could be fully forgivable, but only to black entrepreneurs. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel if you're Hispanic? How about Asian? White? How does that make you feel that it's only going to be given to black entrepreneurs? Sounds a little racist, doesn't it? And others who have strong ideas. Oh, strong ideas to start businesses. Oh, but you had to make it about the black man. People are not gonna overlook this if you do become president there, Camel Toe. The loans would come via new partnerships between the Small Business Administration and the community leaders and banks with a proven commitment to their communities. Small business and banks. Wait, didn't they try this back in 2006, 2005, 2004? Whenever the banks were told that they had to give loans to people that couldn't afford to pay back the loans, subprime loan, what was it? Crisis, that's what it was. What about the Asian people? I know, I don't understand. What? Why isn't everybody getting it? I mean, why not just make it where only redheads can get loans? I mean, come on. The vice president also wants to offer federal incentives, which she doesn't have the power to do, to encourage more African American men to train to be teachers. Why? Citing a statistic that black males made up only a bit more than 1% of the national's public school teaching ranks. Okay. This, huh? What? What does it matter? Who is teaching? If you got a good teacher, it doesn't matter what their race is or what their sex is. If they're doing a good job teaching your kids, it doesn't matter if they're black, white, Asian, German, French, whatever. Teach the damn kids and stop like trying to push off these social justice warrior bullshit on them. And hey, you might find a little bit more, kids wanting to be there in school. Harris is also pledging to expand existing federal programs that forgive some educational loans. And these are all things that she could have been doing 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So, of course, now they've got a poll by the AP for Public Affairs found that 7 in 10 black voters had a favorable view of Harris. I don't trust your polls. It matters to racists. I guess it does. They have parties where they hear many of us died. Yeah. It matters to racists. That's right, Jack Buck. Ginger, that's pretty spot on. What about Asian people? I hate my phone. I hate my phone too. Hey, this redhead doesn't take out loans, cash, or I don't buy. Damn right. Damn right. Cynthia, hard choice you got there. I would like to see dealing with an issue where it is and not deal with others that didn't concern us. I don't know what that means. It must have been something in chat somebody said. I missed it. I'm so sorry. Oh my. Oh my. It's this. It's days like this. It is days like this that I have too much fun because I've got so much for you today. This guy again.
So the Trump fraud case went before the appellate court this week. And by the time it was over, the closing arguments of the Democrat lawyers was just them begging to not get sanctioned. So look, many people aren't aware that the Trump fraud case went before the appeals court this week. And if you don't know how an appeals court works, there are 5 judges that sit in judgment for these cases. And they basically let the prosecution and the defense both lay out their cases. And their job is to consider whether or not the case was worth hearing in the first place. And it went so badly for the Democrat lawyers that by the end of it, their closing arguments was just them begging to not get sanctioned. So they argued a ton.
Yes, this is so true.
Of different things throughout this case. But the biggest thing was the judges kept interrupting them. They kept saying, hold on.
Yes, because that's what judges do during appeal cases. And I've heard this because from my wife, she's been in front of the appeals courts, multiple different courts, federal and state. And she's just like, she's amazed by it, where she goes, you have a certain amount of time to make your point and pretty much expect that they are going to be asking you about every part of the case because they've already made their decision. Appeals courts, they've already read the pleadings from both sides. They've pretty much made their decision, but they want to make sure that their decision is correct on what they're ruling on. It's the same way with the Supreme Court. They've already pretty much got what they want to do. They just want to make sure that they're hearing everything correctly and understanding everything as you're putting it forward. And you have to sway them if they're looking, because you don't know which way they're voting ahead of time. You don't know what their ruling is going to be. You don't know what it's going to be. You might have a good idea, but it is your job as a lawyer to present the best part of your case and hopefully sway their opinion. And you have to be ready to answer those questions. And these appeal attorneys were not.
Can you find me one other time in history where the person who took the loan was able to call the bank that they took the loan from. And then that bank showed up and said, we weren't defrauded. And the lawyers spent like 2 hours trying to find one little instance where it happened. But then the judges said, okay, let's try something else. They said, hey, have you ever prosecuted someone for lying about the value of a property when it resulted in the entire loan being paid back with interest? And again, they gave them like 2 hours to try to explain their case, and they still couldn't produce a single case where that had happened. And then the judges said, hey, you know what? We'll give you another shot. They said, have you ever seen an attorney general prosecute a case where there was no damage to the public? There was no damage to the person you said was defrauded, and there was no actual malice committed by the person who took the loan. And then they took another like 6 hours on that one. And by the end of it, the judges were like, so you don't have any instance of that happening. And then by the time they were done, the judges were like, I don't even know if this is a case that should have been brought. And they said, look, y'all might need to be sanctioned for bringing this case in a malicious manner. One of the judges actually said, I have come to believe that since a case like this has never been brought in the history of the country, not only New York, that you have only brought this case because the person was running for president, which would put you afoul of not only multiple regulations regarding the law, but would also run you afoul of electioneering interference.
Yeah, that's federal right there. That would put you in prison for quite some time with a lot of money going for. You are right, Tammy. It is coffee time. My coffee's getting cold. All right, we're going to take a short break. Get some. See, this is why I love my chat. They're just like, hey, you know what, buddy? Hey, buddy, give us some coffee. All right, everybody, go grab a little bit of coffee. I'll be back in less than 2.
Sandy shores, get a tan, Rambo the orangutan. Driving a golf cart, oh man, Rambo is half crazy, yes he can. Well, that SOB's a sight to F and see. Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Whoa, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is, well, that is too dirty to say here. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is that is too dirty to say here, Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Otters in the surf, hummingbirds in the sky. Rambo honks the horn and spits in Shizzy's eye.
Oh my, we are back. This guy's killing it. Oh my gosh. I guess, yeah, people forgot all about that case being in front of the appeals court.
In fact, at the end of it, when they got to give their closing arguments, instead of arguing the value of their case, instead of arguing that like we should have been able to bring this case because of X and Y and all this shit, they actually just said at the end, we hope that the court will take into account that lawyers need to be able to bring cases like this without the threat of sanction. Basically, they were saying, we hope that you decide that we're not going to get in trouble for bringing this bullshit case. That was what happened at the appellate court. So Trump being found guilty of fraud and having to pay 500 some odd million fucking dollars, and the whole left celebrating about that, he's going to get all that money back because the appellate court was like, this is a bullshit case. The people he took the loan from literally came to court on his behalf and said, hey, we weren't defrauded. We knew he overvalued Mar-a-Lago. We took that into our calculations. And even if we had taken that into our calculations, and the value of Mar-a-Lago was part of 0.14. Like the president of Deutsche Bank said, you know why we gave him the loan? It had nothing to do with the value of Mar-a-Lago. It had to do with we've given him 21 other loans, and he has paid back all 21 with interest. We were giving him the loan regardless of the value of anything. And that's where the appellate court was like, how do you have a case? Deutsche Bank literally said we were giving him the loan regardless. And that's when they started begging to not get sanctioned. So yeah, that's what happened with the Trump fraud case this week. Going really well for the Democrats.
Oh, yes, that's absolutely right. They should be afraid to bring BS cases like this. F them. Yeah, but you notice that they don't have that anywhere on mainstream media. They don't talk about that on the news. No. Why would they talk about that on the news? Why would they talk about that kind of thing on the news? That to them is really difficult. It's really difficult for them to understand. And you can tell, you can watch the left is just eating themselves alive with this stuff.
So when we think about what's at stake in this election, whoa, it's packed with some stuff.
I bet she's got something packed with stuff.
It's packed with some fundamental stuff.
Stuff. Uh-huh.
I say rather articulately.
Stuff, huh? Eek. 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 Packed with stuff. Okay, name it.
Look, guys, we have just talked about an area the size of Massachusetts that's under threat. I talked to a farmer yesterday. After 70 years, he's shutting down business. We've got people hurting here, and that's your focus. I'd like to hear from people who are going to talk about how we recover, how we get the resources where they need to be. You can work on that story. We need to work on rebuilding North Carolina, and I would appreciate questions that are focused on that subject.
Yeah. And when you write that story, go ahead and mention that President Trump has been here, has donated his own personal resources and offered help to the people here more than Biden and Harris did. Biden was on the beach, I think, and Harris, last I checked, she was having a beer with Stephen Colbert last night. So that's where their priorities are. One last question.
Imagine that. Imagine that. But what does the AP say? Oh, the AP has a different story for you. The AP says, fact focus, a look at the false information around Hurricane Helene and Milton. Back-to-back hurricanes that brought death and devastation to parts of the South were made worse by a wide range of false and misleading information. Jeez, looks like ChatGPT got a hold of their fact checkers again. That circulates even though those have been conclusively proven false. By whom have they been proven false? Coming in the closing weeks, the hard-fought race, the false information has become a political fodder, particularly the swing states hit hard by Hurricane Helene and then by Milton. Donald Trump has pushed a litany of false claims in campaign events and social medias, with the supporters helping give voice to the information. Federal, state, local officials, including several Republicans, have condemned the false information. Rhinos, you mean? Including have condemned the false information, noting that it has been made more difficult to address the needs of those hurt by the hurricanes. Here, look at some of the fun facts that of most of the pervasive information. The government cannot create or manage hurricanes. Claimed the government used weather technology to create hurricanes Helene and Milton, deliberately targeting Republican voters. We already went over this, and I'm not going to go over this again, because you either believe that man can control the environment or you don't. That's all there is to it. Either man can control the environment or they don't. Or maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. The federal government was falsely accused of lack of response following Helene. What did we just see? What was it? So that was false information. Just so you know, the people that are there on the ground talking to reporters that are trying to get the work done are saying that you're wrong, AP, that you're misreporting things. Federal government did not respond to Helene. No, that's not what they said. They were slow to respond. Very slow to respond. That's what people are saying. See, you have to word the question right for the claim. You have to state the claim correctly. If you're misstating the claim, it can be proven false. And that's what they're doing. They're misstating the claim. The claim was made that the U.S. government has been very slow to respond, that they've been getting in the way of having things done properly. That is the claim. That has been the claim. What about the sheriff that locked somebody down and would not allow them to fly a helicopter in a private helicopter? Yeah. And do you know what the city councilmen got together and said? Oh, yeah, that was really beautiful of them, what they had to say about it. Everything they have tried hasn't been working. Exactly. So let's get the claim correct. The government is slow to respond, and it is not that it's withheld aid. That is not the claim that people have been making. The claim that people have been making that FEMA, the federal emergency, has been more focused on gender studies and DEI and spreading that kind of crap around than they have been trying to help the victims of this horrible hurricane and flooding that happened in their damn state. They've been very slow to respond. Like, your first responders were the local people that were flying in and out. They were taking care of it because the government was slow to respond. Very slow to respond. The fact both Joe Biden and Camel Toe Harris, the Democrat nominee, have actively supported recovery efforts. In spite of your response, these people have been there to help out. Biden approved major declarations. How long did it take for him to do that? Immediately? No, I think not. He was on a beach in Florida whenever those hurricanes were happening. Whenever those storms were ravaging, when they were dumping trillions of tons of water onto North Carolina, what were they doing? They were hanging at a beach. They were drinking beer on Colbert's show. White House announced that the president spoke on 29th with Kemp in North Carolina, Roy Cooper, Scott Matheson, mayor of Valdosta, Georgia, and the FEMA director, John Luke. Kemp confirmed on the 30th that he spoke to Biden the night before and states he was getting everything that he needed. Okay. What about the other ones? So you got Kemp, but what about the other ones? Well, and of course, Harris visited FEMA headquarters, and also we saw this on Friday that there was a plane that was loaded up, that they spent all this time loading up a C-130 that never left the ground to make it look like something was being done. She called Helene's devastation heartbreaking and vowed that she and Biden would make sure that impacted communities get what they need to recover, but only if you're of a certain demographic. FEMA officials do not have plans to seize some hard-hit communities. The federal government plans to seize and bulldoze some especially hard-hit communities like Chimney Rock, North Carolina, and prevent residents from rebuilding on their own property. I don't know anything that I've never heard that claim. Now, if somebody's out there making that claim, they would have to prove it. And this right here, the fact's not true. Of course, I don't know if somebody is saying the Army came in recently and saw videos yesterday. Yeah, they should have been there. Asked for 90 counties, but got 30. Mm-hmm. And in the rain we'll get weed in the rain. Yes. What? It never flew? Boy, the demons want to hurt people, not to help them. Yeah, it never flew. I showed that on Friday. That plane was loaded up and it never left. The plane that she was overseeing being loaded up. Of course, it's the far white extremists and white supremacist groups picked up on the claims on platforms like Telegram and sought to link false claims about the lithium mines. I don't know anything about this. So their noise is not being heard. The noise that these people are saying is not being heard. FEMA cannot arbitrarily seize private property or condemn whole communities, and the federal government has no plans to seize mines. I've never heard this. So if this story is out there, I'd love to know who's saying it. And of course it says, I encourage you to remember that everything you see on Facebook, X, or any other social media platform, such as AP News or NBC or MSNBC or CBS or Fox News, is probably not going to be true. Unless you can verify it for yourself, it is probably a lie. It is probably misinformation. It's probably disinformation. And you should weigh it with about as much salt as you possibly can, preferably on the tail. It keeps the bird from flying away, because we know birds aren't real. North Carolina Republican wrote his constituents in a message debunking several viral claims about the storm. FEMA assistance of $750 is a starting point for those in need. It does not have to be repaid. Okay. We went over this also. How are you supposed to cash a check if your bank is underwater? Oh, wait. There won't be any response. Which will seize their land if they don't pay it back. The facts, that's not true. Keith Turi, acting director, FEMA's Office of Response Recovery. Now, I've never heard this. That all I've heard is that was the initial part. Honolulu blue storm destroyed Dallas, Texas. Blue storm destroyed Dallas, Texas. Oh my God. I haven't had cable in a few years. It's a good thing. But see, the news still gets out there. You can't remember if I asked this yesterday. Did you work on your porch yet? Oh, no, that was... so I worked on my porch on Friday. That was mainly just getting some loose ends tied up. I was waiting on a grinding wheel to come in. The grinding wheel that I was using was, it was more for polishing. Polishing, get it? And so, let's see, Friday it didn't come in. Saturday it came in at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but I was working on welding some bracing. So I didn't start on that until Sunday. And I started on it on Sunday and finished it up in about 3 hours. So yeah, the whole porch is ground down and it's ready to get grouted and tiled in. So I've got some tile that'll be picking up. I think Friday or Saturday I'll be picking that up and tiling that in. Hopefully have it done by the weekend. Which would be nice. Happy Thanksgiving, Canada. Good job. Dallas? Most of my news comes from YouTube, so we just sort of get into bits and pieces from the people's news. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. You forgot today is Canada Stuffed Turkey Day. Nice hard work. Yes, it is nice hard work. At least I got some new knee pads. Oh man, the old ones I had, they were just as thin as paper. I didn't realize it until I got some gel filled. Oh, I've got no problem being on my hands and knees anymore. Oh, the maximum amount of initial serious assistance was raised to $770 on October 1st. Do you know how far $750 will get you right now? $750? Well, I guess they had to raise it. Give them $20 more. That'll get them 4 bags of chips. Raise it $20, but they have to pay tax. They have to pay tax on it. FEMA is not short of hurricane assistance because it went to other causes. Now that right there would be misinformation. FEMA used money, and we've proven this time and time again. And FEMA has even come out and said that they did not have enough funds. They were asking for more money. The disaster relief, there's a reason why they're asking for more money. They already have had Congress try to call them back into session to try to get emergency funds to these places because they don't have enough funding. So this right here, this claim is verifiably true. Now, they're saying that this is false. This is verifiably true. To continue response efforts for Hurricane Helene and Milton, she said the agency will need to assess how much money will be left to continue recovery projects and respond to future storms this season. Well, FEMA disaster relief funds gets replenished every year by Congress and is used to pay for recovery for hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, and they did not replenish it enough. Same amount FEMA got last year, about $8 billion, is set aside for recovery from previous storms and mitigation projects. It funds foreign military aid separately. Which you didn't have enough funding because you've been using it to spend on immigrants that are here illegally. No money from FEMA has ever been diverted to support border issues or international concerns, according to the agency. But that's not what they said. That is not what they said at all. They're saying the fund that they set aside for that comes out of a different pocket. See, the wording is what matters. See, they set aside a certain amount of money for different things. And you'll see right here, it funds foreign military aid separately. So what they're saying is FEMA got last year, $8 billion is set aside for recovery for past storms. See, like I said, it's all in the wording. The helicopter that blew supplies around North Carolina Distribution Center was attempting to make a delivery. These claims are based on a video that showed a helicopter flying above a parking lot where hurricane aid was being collected. As it hovered above the area, it picked up debris and supplies in sight and toppled canopies. The National Guard said in a statement on Tuesday that the video shows one of its helicopters attempting to make a generator delivery requested by a local civilian organization to power the supply distribution chute. As the helicopter descended into a Burnsville parking lot being used for assistance efforts, it kicked up debris and supplies at the site and toppled canopies. The landing was aborted for safety reasons. No, because they told you not to fly there. They already directed you where to go and when to be there. Idiots. And the helicopter has been grounded, and the helicopter crew's been grounded until the investigation into the incident is complete, which it's just going to go by like nothing ever happened. They'll be grounded temporarily. Yeah, they did it on purpose. Absolutely. So the pilot is a moron. It blew everything all over the damn place. Yeah, remember seeing it happen. Everybody saw it. And then it's just, well, that's never happened. No. Why would this ever happen? You have no idea what this is about. You have no idea what this is all about. These are the things that you're not supposed to see.
Hello, America, and hello, Georgia. I'm Vernon Jones, former state representative from the great state of Georgia. And I'm out doing my normal morning jog. By the way, it's a great day to be in Georgia. It's a beautiful fall day. But anyhow, I just had to pause for the cause. I, like many of you, observed and listened and watched Barack Obama last night as he addressed black men. But as a black man, he did everything but address us. What he did, he berated black men, he rebuked black men, he even scolded black men, primarily because we will not fall in line and vote for Madam Lock-Up-Her Brother, Kamala Harris, because that's her record. As if black men are too stupid that we can't vote our self-interest, what's best for us, our pocketbook, our families. As if we've been immune to the past 3.5 years, as if we don't know that gas prices have been higher under Kamala Harris. Food prices higher under Kamala Harris. Interest rates on home mortgages higher under Kamala Harris. And runaway borders under Kamala Harris. But you know what? That's what the liberal white Democratic Party did. They dispatched Barack Obama out there to whip black men back on the plantation to vote Democrat. And you know, President Obama, he meant a lot to black people, but he didn't do anything for black people. And for him to want to come down from his mansion in Martha's Vineyard and tell black men how we should vote, really? You don't even live in Chicago anymore. You left your black community, Barack Obama, and you want to tell us how to vote? We're not having that. And we're not voting for Kamala Harris.
Nag. That crap makes me work on levators, but not unreal men. Yes. How about charity starts at home? Sent to other countries as well. So we did the turkey thing on Saturday, loving the easy leftovers for a few days. Gotta love them turkey leftovers. So tasty, so delicious. Oh my God. And it just goes on and on and on and on. This is from Glenn Greenwald. And I really get entertainment from him. This is
I
impressive.
do want to get your comment though on the event that you just witnessed in Las Vegas. So just give us your kind of first sense impression of what it is that you saw.
Right. So Univision, I guess that would be the
very
more managed. Was that good? Was that all right?
Very good.
All right. Thank you. I'm assuming that was totally sincere of a compliment on your part. Univision, I'll use my gringo pronunciation, has been proclaimed that it's holding these, Decision 2024, Destino 2024 town halls with both Kamala and Trump. Trump's was also supposed to be this week, but got postponed because it was to be held in Miami, and the hurricane obviously passed through. So Kamala's went forward today in Las Vegas, where I am. It was on the campus of UNLV, so the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And I think people ought to remember what the purpose of a town hall traditionally is. Like, what is the genesis or the etymology of that phrase? A town hall is where anybody could show up, raise their hand, and ask a question. Obviously, that's not how it works in the modern political era, where everything is so heavily scripted and choreographed. But this took things to a different level. So they did permit media to get some kind of access to this.
That is so right. If Kamala doesn't get dusted in November, we should send out Vol to canvass every state. I think if you raise enough money, he would do it. We're not talking about a couple $100. I mean, you'd have to come up with I'm thinking what do you think, Volstorm? 100,000, 200,000 per state? What do you think? To canvas? What do you think? A couple 100,000 per state? I'm thinking about $1 million per state would cover it. Yeah, about $1 million per state for Volstorm to get out there and cover it. Yeah. What do you think? $1 million per state? Can we do that?
Venue, which in practice means you just get shunted into a
Yeah, see, I'm a mercenary. I don't work for free. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking $1 million per state would probably cover it. And that's just to start. Some states are a little bit bigger, like Texas, so it might take a couple more million to do.
Side room, and you're afforded the luxury of sitting there and watching a feed of the event on camera. It's similar to how they organize debates, where nobody's actually allowed in the actual debate venue anymore. You have to just go to a separate room. But so be it. And I figured one of the values, one value that could be gained from going to this in person would be that I could interview the town hall participants afterwards to better understand how it is that they came to be selected to attend this event or to gauge what their impressions were of Kamala Harris, very standard journalistic style inquiries. But what I was flabbergasted to discover was that according to the Univision director of corporate communications, and I'll even give you her name, Anna Negron, just so people can look it up if on their own if they so desire. I asked her, so are we going to be able to talk to the town hall participants afterwards? Because we sat there and watched the full event. It was completely banal and generic, other than Kamala Harris added Alberto Gonzalez to the cast of Bush administration officials whose endorsement she's touting. Obviously, she went through the superstars of Dick and Liz Cheney. She threw in Alberto Gonzalez, the former attorney general, had to resign in disgrace, if memory serves.
And who I'm sure is beloved widely by the entire.
Yes, he did. Alberto Gonzalez did resign in disgrace. Yeah, it was pretty horrendous how horrible that guy was.
Latino voting population who remembers him so fondly as his role of attorney general for about 2 years, 14 years ago. But he has a good last name for that venue, Alberto Gonzalez.
Right. So Kamala made sure to name drop him because the surname Gonzalez must have just been so invigorating to everybody who was watching. Anyway, this was billed as undecided voters who had been selected to go to this event. But the head of the corporate communications bureau for Univision said that.
You want to say her name again?
Anna Negron. She said, quote, "We won't be making them available," as though I guess it was for us, the attending journalists, to wait to be graced by them with the opportunity to do even some semblance of journalism at this event. Otherwise, I guess we were just relegated to sitting and politely watching this live feed of an event that was taped and now is going to air tonight.
Well, and you have to understand what he's talking about. Why are we watching? Because he's explaining that during most town halls, the way that these are set up is you have people that they claim are undecided voters. Okay, that's what they're billing it as. Undecided voters coming in and asking questions of candidates. And usually whenever you have this group of undecided voters, the media will, ask them questions, so how did this change your thought or your reasoning behind? I mean, has it solidified your opportunity to think that, you're not undecided anymore, that this is solidifying your decision? You're saying that you're an undecided voter. How is this swaying you? And what he's explaining is the press was not allowed to poll the people, these undecided voters, to actually have a sit down with them and ask them questions. And whenever you see that kind of thing happening, it means one of two things. Either one, they just don't have people that are truly undecided voters, or it was fake and a sham. Because generally you make those people available for the press to ask so how did you feel? What was all of this about? Did it help solidify who you're going to vote for? Has it changed you in any sort of way? These are questions that they ask at almost all town halls, but the press was not allowed to do that. They made sure that these undecided voters they wouldn't give them access, which begs to think that, either they just were, they already had their minds made up and they were shills there, or it was a sham.
So that's closed off, and other journalists also attempted to ask her the same question, and it just wasn't allowed, according to her. But I did get a little bit of additional information because, as you noted, Glenn, and I'm extremely intrepid, and I don't take no for an answer. So what I figured out was that there were two segments of the audience who they filled this quote-unquote town hall venue with. One segment who were actually entitled to stand up and ask questions, meaning the host called on them and they stood up and asked a question. These were people from around the country, Latino voters, who were blown in at the expense of Univision, which is odd. I mean, we're in a swing state of Nevada. There are plenty of people, I'm sure, in Clark County, Nevada, who would have been more than happy to go and ask Kamala Harris a question, but instead they flew people from Florida and Wisconsin and California and other places to Las Vegas to ask these questions that I guess only they could ask. Like one question was, just to basically prompt Kamala to give her generic platitudes on immigration policy or other stuff. The final question was, can you name 3 virtues of Donald Trump? So the feel-good question that sometimes candidates get asked where they have to praise their opponent. So that was strange. But there were also other people in the audience at this event who were not called upon to ask questions, but were just filling seats. And that duty, it so happens, was outsourced to a company called Fans on Cue.
Yeah. She couldn't even fill the seats. That shows you. Good morning, King Paco. That goes to show you. If they're having to fly people in to ask questions, that they only filled it with people that were paid to be there. That shows you how weak that her campaign is. That is what this is showing you, how weak her campaign is. If she can't even fill a studio with people without paying for them to be there, that's bad. That is really bad.
It's on letter Q, which it's one of these strange services which if you never really thought about it, you would never really think about it having existed, or you never think about the fact that it exists, but once you hear that it exists, it makes sense. It's a company that goes and puts out casting calls for audience members to attend stuff like music award shows. So
yeah, and I ran into this whenever I was in California. So what he's saying is completely true. And I don't know how it is anymore because it's been decades since I've been to California, but you could go, for example, go watch you could be part of the studio audience for just trying to think like what would be one that was in California, like the Dating Game. You could become a live studio audience member, and they would pay you, $20-$30 just to show up and sit in their studio, and applaud whenever they held up all the applause signs and crap like that. And what they would do is they come outside the theater ahead of time. People are lined up down the block because, hey, this is easy money. I only have to be there for a couple of hours and I get paid. And all I have to do is just sit there and clap like a seal. And so they would get lines down the in front of those studios, like crazy amounts. And sometimes you could go from studio to studio and just make a whole day of it. Just all you had to do is just be part of the live studio audience. So yes, these do exist.
This company is used for the Latin Grammy Awards, where they have people, who go and dance at the award show, but they're selected and vetted ahead of time. I guess maybe young, good looking, whatever. And they employ that same service for this event. And I sent a little clip that I got from my interview. I was able to interview some of those people, even though it was unsanctioned, apparently, by Univision. We couldn't get to the sacrosanct handful of people who asked the questions. They were in like a separate area. But the ordinary people who got access or admittance through this weird company, they were just kind of funneling out. I was able to ask them questions. So if you want to pull up, again, this was billed on the official PR press release for Univision as specifically tailored to undecided voters, and that the event would be filled with undecided voters. And you could play the clip if you have it. And I think we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do tonight.
You go to play the clip, but that is the gist of that interview. Was bringing that information up and saying, hey, how how are these people reacting? And it's this is common to happen with news organizations to bring this kind of crap up. Here's another example.
In the debate, you were asked to clarify if you believe Trump lost the 2020 election. Do you believe he lost the 2020 election?
I think that Donald Trump and I have both raised a number of issues with the 2020 election, but we're focused on the future. I think there's an obsession here with focusing on 2020. I'm much more worried about what happened after 2020, which is a wide open border, groceries that are unaffordable. And look,
Senator, yes or no?
Oh, they hate whenever you don't answer the question how they want you to answer it. Oh, it drives them nuts.
No. Okay. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Let me ask you a question. Is it okay that big technology companies censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, which independent analysis have said it cost Donald Trump millions of votes?
Senator Vance, I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Did big technology companies censor a story that independent studies have suggested would have cost Trump millions of votes?
Senator
I think that's
Vance,
the question.
I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose?
I don't have to answer your question, sweet cheeks. How about this? Ask Hillary that question.
And I've answered your question with another question. You answer my question and I'll answer yours.
I have asked this question repeatedly. It is something that is very important for the American people to know. There is no proof, legal or otherwise, that Donald Trump did not.
No, that's a statement. That's not a question. So how about this? Why is it important in the wake of an open border and high outrageous inflation? Exactly. How about FNL? How about FU? Exactly. That's exactly what he said. Yeah, because no one cares.
Not lose the 2020
But
election.
You're repeating a slogan rather than engaging with what I'm saying, which is that when our own technology firms engage in industrial scale censorship, by the way, backed up by the federal government in a way that independent studies suggest affect the votes, I'm worried about Americans who feel like there were problems in 2020. I'm not worried about this slogan that people throw. Well, every court case went this way. I'm talking about something very discrete, a problem of censorship in this country that I do think affected things in 2020. And more importantly, that led to Kamala Harris's governance, which has screwed this country up in a big way.
Senator, would you have served?
She is totally getting triggered. You can see her just losing it. Ooh, she's so angry right now. Oh, you can't out debate him. No, you can't. No.
Certified the election in 2020? Yes or no?
I've said that I would have voted against certification because of the concern that I just raised. I think that when you have technology companies,
The answer is no.
When you have technology companies censoring Americans at a mass scale.
That's not what he said. He has not answered your question, and he refuses to answer your question. What about all those in 2016 who cried at cheating? Yeah, they destroyed Washington. They went through and destroyed Washington. They burned businesses. They smashed out windows. They flipped cars. They set cars on fire in 2016. Yeah, they don't want to talk about that.
In a way that, again, independent studies have suggested affect the vote. I think that it's right to protest against that, to criticize that, and that's a totally reasonable thing.
So the answer is no. And the last question, will you
That's not what he said.
support the election results this time and commit to a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, first of all, of course, we commit to a peaceful transfer of power. We are going to have a peaceful transfer of power. I, of course, believe that peaceful transfer of power is going to make Donald Trump the next president of the United States. But if there are problems, of course, in the same way that Democrats protested in 2004 and Donald Trump raised issues in
This NPR
2020,
might
we're
be.
going to make sure that this election counts, that every legal ballot is counted. We've filed almost 100 lawsuits at the RNC to try to ensure that every legal ballot has counted. I think you would maybe criticize that. We see that as an important effort to ensure election integrity, but certainly we're going to respect the results in 2024, and I feel very confident they're going to make Donald Trump.
New York Times. Thank you, New York Times. No, that was an interview from the New York Times is what it was. But hey, you've got this lady right here.
team comes on the field, we will all stand up and cheer. To the other team we'll never yield, and we won't forget we're here. We will fight for victory and win. We will conquer every...
Yeah, that's your vice presidential candidate. His wife. This is a guy that's a hunter. You want to see a hunter?
Yeah. That's my theory. And it never fits quite right. Never fits quite right. It's not quite right. How do you give it back?
Governor, what kind of gun is it?
This is a Beretta A400. I bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap.
Uh-huh.
Kind of their patented thing, a kickoff. So when you get old, it doesn't hurt your shoulder as much.
Yeah. So another thing that he was doing during his big pheasant hunt.
A few moments ago, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
And just remember what there's something that somebody pointed out. What is missing in this picture?
Walz was out pheasant hunting in Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, taking part in the 12th annual Governor's Pheasant Hunting Opener. This comes, friends, as we know that they're going to have Walz doing sort of a blitz, reaching out to men, young men, voters they know, 50-50 swing vote. They know they need to get them.
Did anybody notice what they're missing? Anybody notice what's missing from this picture? Well, what's missing from this picture?
Say, Hope Walz is giving a pheasant hunting glam this morning, okay? That is the governor's daughter that you see her in the back. Look at that.
Bingo. Bingo. Yeah. There's no guns. It's wild. Not a single gun. But we did get some wonderful pictures from that pheasant hunting excursion. Yep. Got some good ones there for this pheasant hunting excursion. Oh, I saw those. Those were just consistent. But this has got to be one of my favorites. One of my favorites right here. Hunter, not Hunter. That one made me laugh so hard. Oh my God. That just made me laugh. Just nonstop. Oh. Hold on just a second. Let's see. I'll have to turn down the music on this one and show it to you. Here we go. Hopping on Fox News at 8 a.m. to get the word out, my extended family. Thank you very much, Jeff. It's a great honor to have your endorsement. Look forward to meeting you soon. Oh, God. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. But this is pretty awesome here. I saw this one last night right here. She thought that was Joe Biden. She thought that was Joe Biden. she thought that was Joe Biden. She doesn't even know who her current president is. The irony of what Walt's shotgun may have been illegal to hunt with. He put in more than 3 rounds in total. That's probably why he couldn't load any more in there. Why it wouldn't work for him. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I know that with turkey, you're only allowed, I believe it's 2 rounds and 1 in the chamber, so you're allowed 3 rounds. You have a plug in there, and that's just to make it so you're not out there just clamoring all over the place with these things. But this is the Border Patrol. Check this out.
America, I have a message for you. If we allow Borders R. Harris to win this election, every city, every community in this great country is going to go to hell. The untold millions of people, unvetted, who she has allowed into this country that are committing murders, rapes, robberies, burglaries, and every other crime will continue to put our country in peril. Only one man can fix that. That is Donald J. Trump. He has always stood with the men and women who protect this border, who put their lives on the line for the country. A man who knows about putting his life on the line for what is right. This November, we have a choice to make. Continue the chaos, allow the criminal cartels to control the border, to allow drugs and fentanyl across our country, or put an end to it once and for all. On behalf of the 16,000 men and women represented by the National Border Patrol Council, we strongly support and endorse Donald J. Trump for President of the United States.
The left hates that. Oh, so much. Oh, so much. But it doesn't end there. Oh, we got more. We got so much more.
Kamala Harris's numbers are dropping in the polls, and she just said in her own words, you saw the tape there, there is no difference between her and Joe Biden. The Biden policies, Bidenomics, all the things they champion are destroying the country, and everybody knows that, and that's why Donald Trump is elected. Republicans are going to win the Senate and the House.
Mr. Speaker, we should note that FEMA funds were actually redirected on Donald Trump's watch to deal with the migrant issue. Let me ask you, you mentioned the medical records.
No, ma'am. No, wait a minute. No, that's hold on, wait a minute. Wait, facts are important. That is a new program that started in 2020 under Joe Biden. That funding wasn't necessary under Trump's administration because we secured the border. We didn't invite illegal aliens and dangerous people into the country. That's a Biden-Harris policy, and everybody knows it.
Mr. Speaker, it did happen under Donald Trump's watch, but let me just ask you about medical records. Since
we didn't. No, Kristen,
should Donald Trump release all of his medical records?
New account.
Should Donald Trump release all of his medical records?
He has.
Speaker?
He issued the records of his physicians. Kamala Harris issued her medical records as a diversion because she's desperate because she's sinking in the polls. Donald Trump's health is on display. Everyone in America can see it. The man works nonstop. He never quits. He probably sleeps 4 hours a night. He doesn't require as much sleep as the average person. He's an unusual figure. And this is the strength that we need in a time like this. We're in the most dangerous moment since World War II. You have to have strength. You have to have a steady hand. You have to have a commander-in-chief that our allies respect and our enemies fear. They do not fear Kamala Harris. They do fear Donald Trump.
Mr. Speaker,
that's what people are going to vote on.
Just to be very clear, he hasn't released all of his medical records. He released 2 letters. Should he release the results of the cognitive test?
He's on display every minute.
So it's unnecessary. You can see that he didn't release his medical records. You don't want to know things like his cholesterol level, whether he's dealing with any issue that we may not know about, if he's going to be commander-in-chief. And he also said he would release cognitive tests.
Listen to your question.
Should he release that?
The American people Kristen, the American people don't care about the cholesterol level of Donald Trump. They care about the cost of living and the fact they cannot pay for groceries because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's policies have put them in that situation. The medical records are irrelevant. Let's talk about things that the American people care about. That's why Donald Trump is surging in the polls, because he's doing that on stages, in interviews, nonstop around the clock, and Kamala Harris has done nothing. Every time she talks, her numbers go down because she is uniquely unqualified to be the commander-in-chief at one of the most dangerous times in the history of the country.
Ouch. Ouch. Biden hid in his basement. Poor reporter. She is so biased she can cannot get a line word in. Exactly. 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 Take it from an old guy. Take it from an old guy. Here's someone that he proudly wears that United States Marine Corps on his hat. This old guy right here.
Go fuck yourself, okay? All of you. The Constitution is at risk. The entire future of the country is at risk. So don't tell me Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus, all right? Don't tell me that Franklin Roosevelt excluded farm workers from Social Security. All right, these are the assholes that run around. I'm better, I'm smarter, I'm more honest than you. I just have to call them like I see them. These are the kind of people that make me want to throw up. They make me actually throw up. And between now and Election Day, I'm on the look for these motherfuckers, and I'm going to call them out at every junction. But you need to look up this massive Jonathan Turdley, Alan Dershowitz. What a fucking fraud. What a fraud.
Oh, and I've got something that is going to be disturbing, but that one is going to have to wait for about 15 minutes. And whenever I bring it up, I cannot guarantee any of it is true or not. I can't guarantee whether any of it's true or not. So you'll just have to know that it's going to be good. He's cute. I like him. Stop asking questions no one cares about. Exactly. Tell us give us the answers of what we're asking about. Give us the answers of what we're asking about. Oh my God. I was going to talk about Iceland, but that one isn't even worth it. This should concern you a little bit here. China sends 125 military aircraft in exercises aimed at Taiwan in a single day record. But that's not what this was billed as. This right here is China employed 125 military aircraft in exercises aimed at Taiwan on Monday, a record for a single day. It said 90 of the aircraft, including warplanes, helicopters, drones, were spotted within Taiwan's air defense identification zone. China launched a large-scale military exercises on Monday aimed at a warning against Taiwanese independence, it said. China deployed those aircraft, and this is the latest update in this, because earlier it said that military exercises surrounding Taiwan's outlying islands on Monday simulating the sealing off of all key ports in a move that underscores the tense situation in the Taiwan Strait. This right here is dangerous. Now, you think, well, this is happening over in Asia. Just remember where you're getting your chips from. Remember where that chip that operates your car, runs your Tesla, that EV that you saved up money to purchase, and the smart devices in your home. You know, the one that turns on the lights whenever you want it to, the TV that you watch the news with, the computer that you operate and watch this with, the phone that you're might be viewing this on right now. All of them require those chips that are in Taiwan. Makes you wonder. So how is this going to affect you? I don't know. Tell me how the coof, the ones you watched Izzy from, yeah, the ones you watch me from, exactly, or listen to. How does this affect you? Well, see what happens whenever if China makes a move on Taiwan. See what happens. Just watch. See how bad it gets. Nobel Economics Prize is awarded for research into why countries succeed or fail. Interesting, huh? In Stockholm, the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economics was awarded Monday to Darren Akamalogo, Simon & Johnson, James A. Robinson for researches into why some countries succeed and others fail. Well, what did they find? These three economists have demonstrated the importance of societal institutions for a country's prosperity. Societies with a poor rule of law and institutions that exploit the population do not generate growth or change for the better. Think about that. Next time that you're calling for Donald Trump to be thrown in jail because you've got an overzealous group of people that go after him, that have suspended the rule of law, when the Department of Justice becomes nothing more than a political wing of the government, countries tend to fail. When they allow rioters and looters to dominate how policy is made in cities, and they're not arrested, they're not thrown in jail, they suffer no consequences. When they riot and loot and then you have a presidential campaign that is promoting it before they're president, before they're vice president, by raising funds to have these people bailed out that are destroying cities, where they eliminated the rule of law. Or how about a state that keeps people locked up so they can continue to fight forest fires? It's crazy. It's crazy how bad that can get. It's really wild. And I mean, are you going to hear about this today?
So that outside perimeter are the, I will give you his name. The name that we have, and I'm going to put an asterisk by it as I explain this later, but we have his name as Vem, V-E-M, Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R. He was released. He will have to further his court case is in the future. Right now, we are actively engaged in working with Secret Service and the FBI to ensure that this person is followed up on and all of the information that they can gather. I can tell you that from my perspective, from a state law enforcement agency's perspective, the firearms charges is what we arrested him for and booked him on. Anything further will come from the federal government. And quite frankly, I don't know if we will be a part of that. So that outside.
Just remember, there was another attempt. Another attempt. So we have three that have been shown. Three that have been shown. And this guy's out on bail. Imagine you make an attempt on a former president, and this guy is out on bail.
Side perimeter.
What did I just say about rule of law? What did I just say?
Are the I will give you his name. The name that we have, and I'm going to put an asterisk by it as I explain this later. But we have his name as Vem, V-E-M, Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R. He was released.
They are even sure it's his name. He was released. Wild, huh? Amazing how this guy is released. The next stuff that I'm going to show you, is going to be disturbing. I don't know if any of this is true. The next thing I'm going to show you, I cannot confirm that it's true, but somebody reached out to this person, and this was the conversation that was had. Dear Doc, thanks for the call. I will lay out in details what has happened to me. I was 14 years old whenever I met Tim Walz. Like many normal kids, I was very confused about many things. My emotions were that of a typical teenager. Tim and Gwen Walz befriended me. I was a loner. They made me feel special. Tim Walz started telling me secrets about himself. He told me I could trust him with anything. I was very shy and having difficulty. Tim and Gwen extended an invitation for me to go to a concert with them in March of '95. When we got to the concert, it was just Tim and me. The concert was the Indigo Girls, who I knew nothing about. During the concert, he started to explain to me the meaning behind the lyrics. He started explaining to me that I was gay. The entire time he was explaining to me that I was gay. He was rubbing my back up and down in what I thought was a comforting gesture. The next thing I know, I remember feeling tired, overwhelmingly tired. The rest of the night, I'm not comfortable telling you right now. I'm going to put it in a letter. It's difficult for me right now. What in the hell does that mean? What in the hell is going on? And this was the response back to that man. I understand how difficult this must be for you. I just want to be clear. You were 14 years old when you went to this concert. You were alone with Tim. You were served alcohol. The concert was March 95, Indigo Girls, Nebraska. What was the name of the concert arena? What happened after the concert? I'm emailing the Walz-Harris campaign for comment. I'm emailing the VP account to advise her. I'll be sending emails to the major news networks. They will not want the story, but let's see. I'm going to help you, but you need to understand this is going to get very dicey. Things need to be done in a methodical manner. I need facts that only you would know. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And it goes on. Here is my story, Doc. During the concert, I became extremely tired. I don't know if it was the alcohol. I don't know if it was something was put in the alcohol, but I remember dancing with Tim Walz. We were slow dancing. I remember his hands being inside my pants a little. He was telling me that it was natural. He was telling me that it was okay. After the concert, Gwen was not to be found. Tim said he would take me home, but we would stop off and get something to eat. Being 14 years old, I thought this meant McDonald's. To be honest, I thought I was having a great time. I thought I was beginning to think that I was gay. Then we stopped to get food. It was a tavern. I never realized till I was older that it was actually a gay bar. There were only a couple of women in the entire place, but they were really not women. I don't remember how long we were there. I don't remember the drive back home at all. The next thing I remembered, I was naked. I was in the home of Tim Walz. He was giving me oral. I remember it only took seconds, maybe a minute for me to, I thought this meant that I was, I thought this meant I was really, I didn't understand it was just a physical reaction. I remember being upset. I thought Gwen would walk in. He told me not to worry about that. He told me Gwen would not disturb us. He kept reassuring me that everything was okay, that this was normal, and he was helping me see that I was really this way. The next morning, I woke up on their couch. Gwen was there. They made breakfast, and they acted like nothing happened at all. Tim took me home, and I honestly thought I had feelings for him. I thought he was showing me life. I remember feeling so confused, yet so free. I thought this was part of becoming a man. I remember a definitive bump, like a scar on his chest. He told me all kinds of secrets. He told me he was almost deaf from his time in the military. He told me he'd served in the Persian Gulf War. When I finally got home, I didn't tell my parents anything, but I thought I had feelings for Mr. Waltz. He told me many secrets about himself. At least I thought they were secrets. He told me he was, bi. He explained what that meant. I would continuously see Mr. Waltz through during 95, spent a lot of time with him whenever I could. I can't remember the exact date, but I moved to another county the summer of 95. My parents were becoming suspect. In 95, he came to see me. We were drinking. We had gone out that night. We got into an argument when I found out he had planned on taking students to another Indigo Girls concert. On that night, we left very angry. That is the night he got pulled over for drunk driving. He called me and told me what happened. He told me he was going to be fired from his football job. At this time, I was in a different school district. This is when I started to learn that I was not that way. This is when I began to know I like girls. We did not talk very often during 96, but my parents called the school board and had me make a complaint. I would never admit to my parents what happened. They told the school board they had suspicions of a relationship between myself and Mr. Waltz. We probably had a 10 to 12 encounters. Now I have to stop now, Doc. I understand you need more details. I will give them, but that's enough for now. Take care. And then there was a meeting, July 1st, 1996. A motion was made by Allender and seconded by Moore to accept the resignation of Tim Waltz, Gwen Waltz, and Byron Green. The motion carried unanimously. Does that sound like I was being interesting? I can't confirm any of this. Like I said, none of what you see here is true or correct. But if that's true, if that news is true, that's going to be pretty big news. That's going to be some extraordinary news in the next few weeks. Very interesting news.
If I were a racist, I'd come up with a plan. I'd give them just enough money so they wouldn't need a man. The father rebuked, but the mother will miss him when all of her sons are raised by the system. And what would I call this act of piety? I know, I'll call it the Great Society. No need for family. I'll take God out of schools. You could worship the government, just obey all the rules. But to be a great racist, I'd need to find a way to decrease the numbers of black, brown, and, hey, abortion. But with a little more stealth, I'll fool the whole world and call it women's health. But still, some will be born, so we'll need to confuse them. We could turn men into women and women into men. I think that'll do it. That'll do the trick. But still, there will be others, so we'll need to make them sick with food or drugs. Surely in time, we could also infest their neighborhoods with crime. And the people will love me, no matter what the fuss is, because I'll do all of these things and call it justice. Now, this plan will cost money, so I'll impose more tax on the people who already break their backs. Who cares? They can nickel and dime it. And get this, I'll blame it all on the climate. No more comfort, no more convenience, no more oil, no gasoline. It's going to be amazing. I mean, this is a hell of a plan. Why even worry about the color of a man? Black, white, gay, or straight? For total control, I need to stir up hate and divide every single person by their simple beliefs. They might even call me the liberty thief, because I'll take all their freedoms, and it'll be tough, I confess. How will I do it? I'll use the press. They'll spread the word and the propaganda for years until one day a new virus appears. That's when the feces really hits the fan blades, because I'll have forced vaccines and mask mandates. I could shut down schools and control elections, stuff all the ballots section by section. And poverty will replace the American dream while the oligarch siphons the war machine. But if I'm really going to do this, if I'm really going to own it, I need to get rid of my political opponents. I could twist the laws and accuse them of crimes. It shouldn't be too hard. The judges are mine. Not to mention the prosecution. This is how it's done. Screw the Constitution. But for my masterpiece, my greatest iteration, I'll replace every patriot with illegal immigration. So that's it. That's how I'll do it. And with the competition gone, I'll be a shoo-in. So a racist and a tyrant? Well, don't call me that. I need to be discreet. Call me a Democrat.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.